Hello, my name is Marc Mondor, and I would like to talk to you about green construction jobs. I'm an architect, a member of the American Institute of Architects. In fact, I'm president of AIA Pennsylvania. I am co-founder and principal of a firm called evolveEA Architecture, and I'm also faculty and fellow with the U.S. Green Building Council, and I'm an appointee to the Climate Change Advisory Committee. So my firm, Evolve Environment Architecture, we are a certified B Corp, and we are a green building and sustainability consulting and design firm. We work with built environment projects, notably districts as well as buildings. And so we deal with green construction a lot in terms of where we are now, but also where we see the industry going. When we talk about green, we talk about moves and interventions that are good for people, that are good for the environment, and that make economic sense. So one of the things that I've been working on with a group of people is the Pennsylvania Climate Action Plan. By law, this comes out every 3 years and notifies of carbon as it's being generated within the Commonwealth, and how we can cost effectively reduce carbon, but also how we can adapt to ever increasing levels of carbon within our Commonwealth. Now, one of the byproducts of this report, and the last one was 2018, the next one's going to come out in 2021, is the resultant number of green jobs, if you will. So these are legitimate full-time employments that deal with energy efficiency, conservation, and renewables, sustainable transportation, and so forth. If you look at this graph here, especially that green line, those are energy conservation and energy efficiency jobs. The majority of those are green construction jobs and renewable jobs, which is great news. What it means is that there's an expected expansion of green jobs, notably in the construction industry, for the foreseeable future. And if you see that dashed black line there, that's if you add up all the green jobs all put together. So we're in a situation where green jobs are expected to continue to grow. Another thing I'd like to point you to is the EE report of green jobs, and these are across the country, but here's one specifically for Pennsylvania. And it notes that there are about 90,000 clean jobs across Pennsylvania, and this number is growing between 6 and 8% every single year. So clean jobs or green jobs have to do with energy efficiency, they have to do with renewable energy, but it's also grid technology, storage, vehicles, and so forth. But the good news is that 85% of these jobs are in energy efficiency and renewables, and about 45% of them are in the construction industry. So it's good news that this is growing at a rate of 6 to 8% every single year, even as fossil fuel job creation is flagging or lagging. This is good news in that these green jobs are continuing to grow. So this is a good horse to back. Now, I'd like to talk to you about green jobs in particular and what they particularly mean. Like I said, these are jobs related to construction that in effect are good for the environment, and they're good for people who are going to use the construction projects, and they pencil out economically. Here in our part of the country, there are many brownfield sites. Brownfields are sites that have had past industry and potential contamination, and there's an incentive to renovate these sites. A lot of them are in really nice riverfront environments that are desirable, and they're very large and contiguous. So there's a benefit to redeveloping them. So the idea here is that you're taking what was a fallow, contaminated, maybe even hazardous site and renovating it into something that's useful. So there's a number of these types of projects going on as we speak, and there's the opportunity to do more. So brownfield site is a positive thing to develop. Other types of green construction jobs have to do with renewable energy. Here you have an image of photovoltaic panels being installed on top of this project, this particular existing old structure, and they're being adapted and retrofitted to fit onto the top of it. Now, the nice thing about photovoltaic panels is that they're fixed, so there's no moving parts. They're stable, and there's no degradation over the 25-year life cycle that these panels last. There's maybe only a 20% degradation. And as the cost per installed watt continues to go down, at some point we will reach grid parity, where the amount of cost for watt generated by sunshine is equal to fossil fuel. And that's only going to continue to grow down. You can think of a photovoltaic array like this as a sort of farm, if you will, but instead of growing tomatoes or corn, this farm is growing electrons and energy in an ongoing way. And even if it's cloudy or sunny, it doesn't matter. The generation continues. Another type of green construction job has to do with historic renovation. These types of buildings, of course, are historic and old and need love and care. And so this is a good opportunity to apply our talents to trying to bring these up into the 21st century. Often this deals with improving the quality of the envelope, the brickwork, the roof, the windows, making sure that you can keep the elements out while at the same time upgrading the inside. As opposed to demolishing a building like this, by keeping it intact, you're able to actually celebrate and re-emphasize what might very well be an anchor in a particular community. So this is a really important thing for us to be able to do as a society, and it has what we call the triple bottom line benefit I was mentioning. Another type of green job green construction has to do with the interiors. This is actually the interior of the historic building I was just showing you. So you can see it's a very modern interior, but with modern levels of clean air and ventilation, which is very important in this post-COVID world. Healthy finishes, low toxins, so it's clean and healthy to breathe. And so all of these things together, when you add in high efficiency lighting and controllability, make that the people inside are happier and more productive and able to do better, which increases the value of the space as well. So all of these things really make a difference in terms of how green construction can make better buildings. Once you have these things in place, it increases the value of the building, which then increases the value of what you're doing. If you have a photovoltaic panel on top of a roof, that's part of the building. And so that's an investment like any other, and it increases the value as you go. So as far as putting these together, what we have are sustainability certifications that vary. You've heard of many of these types of certifications, like Energy Star and LEED. Some of them are more common, well known. Others are maybe a little more unique, but sustainability certifications have a way of being able to unify the efforts that we put forward as we build projects, as we build buildings, as we build neighborhoods. So LEED certification, which is a product of the U.S. Green Building Council, it's not a federal program. It's a nonprofit that happens to be located in Washington, D.C., has been around for over 20 years, and there are over 100,000 LEED certifications in over 160 countries around the world. So LEED, which stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, has become the global green building rating system standard. So people around the world know and use LEED. Our practice has worked on LEED internationally. And so with LEED, you have different levels of certification: silver, certified, silver, gold, and platinum. And the more things that you do, the more you apply, the higher your score that you'll ultimately achieve. There's also a certification for eco-districts. So this is at the neighborhood scale. And so we, in Western Pennsylvania, we have the first 2 ever eco-district certified projects that are along the Allegheny River. And eco-districts looks at water efficiency, energy efficiency, air quality, mobility, which is the ability for people to get around, food quality, food security, and overall equity. So all of these things together make a better community, and we've found that these items together make for greater community engagement, which is very helpful. So there's a lot of construction to be done in eco-districts, whether it's upgrading the buildings, whether it's building renewable energy, whether it's building green infrastructure with stormwater infiltration and things like that. So there's a lot of construction that's related to this. And once a community develops an eco-districts plan, it can be manifested for decades. There's also LEED for neighborhood certification. So just like we talked about LEED with regards to buildings, there can be a certification for the entire neighborhood as well. This right here is the neighborhood of Hazelwood Green, which is a former brownfield site along the Monongahela, and has pursued LEED for neighborhood development. And then all of the buildings within Hazelwood Green are all going to pursue LEED certification. So it kind of reinforces itself right here very well. And this is the building where I showed you the photovoltaic panels. So you've got a lot of different things going on here with this particular project. And the last certification I wanted to run by you is called Passive House. Passive House has been around for, well, decades, but in the United States for maybe about 10 years. Reason I want to mention it to you is because it's very simple. It's not just for houses, although that's what the name says. It's for any kind of building. But what it primarily focuses on is having a very tight envelope, meaning the walls and the roof and the windows, which minimizes the amount of heat that's lost or cool that's lost in the summer. And that allows you to minimize the size of the HVAC systems inside. So Passive House certification is based around energy use. And it's based around energy use in that you measure it after the building is complete. So it's a very simple building that's based upon how well the building actually performs. But the reason it's worth mentioning here is because the design and construction of a passive house building is very demanding, and so it requires a lot of attention, blower door tests and things like that. So lastly, if you are interested in sustainability and green buildings, there's training centers. This is the Energy Innovation Center that I noted before. It's a building from the 1930s with a 21st century renovation that achieved LEED Platinum certification. And there's a lot of training available with regards to energy efficiency, with regards to heating, cooling, ventilation, and with regards to sustainability and rating systems. So this is a good horse to back because this is the way the industry is going. As people and users are more and more aware of the benefits of energy efficiency, of health interiors, of the triple bottom line benefits, it helps with the speeding up of approvals for projects, and it makes better projects for people, which makes them a better investment, which makes them easier to finance. If you'd like to know more, here's our website. Like I say, our firm deals with this in many different ways. Whether it's buildings or whether it's eco-districts or whether it's district energy or whether it's LEED for neighborhood development or LEED certifications, and whether it's consulting or goal setting or teaching about it. Our firm, Evolve, does a lot of this. We're also a certified benefit corporation. We're a B Corp, and we're also just certified, and we're a carbon neutral company headquartered in Pittsburgh. So thank you for your time.